You know, many of us like the two-tone effect of a nice high-quality pistol like this Browning High Power. It's a really fine machine pistol. It has proven itself for many years, not only in the self-defense world, but also in the military world. The Browning High Power is legendary. But there are times where you can't necessarily afford something that's $850, $900. Sometimes it's $170. And if that's all you can afford, self-defense is not limited to someone's budget. And when I first started collecting guns, there were a number of the Ring of Fire Company guns that I purchased. And you know what? Over the years, I've really enjoyed them. I was at a recent gun show here locally in town and kept seeing over and over the Jimenez Arms JA 9. And the price was just phenomenal. I mean, these were selling for around the $169 mark. You know, and it really made me think a lot about, you know, self-defense and, you know, sometimes, you know, we're limited to our budgets and what we can afford. You know, a lot of times we think of gang members or, you know, these urban, you know, problems and people picking these up, but we're not thinking about the little grandmother who lives in a bad area and just lives on a super limited budget and has bought something like this for self-defense. So we're going to check it out. We're going to shoot it. We're going to go through some tests with it and just see if this is worth the money. Jimenez Arms is actually owned by Paul Jimenez. He started out with the original Jennings firearm company. He was the shop foreman. And one of the philosophies behind those pistols was to make an inexpensive pistol for anyone to be able to afford. I have an original Jennings J22, which I have had for about 30 years. And that little gun, especially, it's a little finicky on 22 ammo, but if you shoot CCI mini mags, you don't have any trouble. And really with these small little pistols, in fact this one, you can check the review on this one. I'll have it linked right here, annotated, and then you can check it out down in the description as well. You know, I didn't have any failures with this pistol. Now, I didn't use super cheap bulk ammo either, because, you know, you're just asking for trouble. I mean, these pistols, you use good quality ammunition. But as long as it's accurate, which this has a fixed barrel design, which inherently is accurate, and the gun is somewhat durable, at least to about 500 rounds. This is a great option because most people will not put more than about 100 rounds through their pistol ever in the lifetime of the pistol. So this review is going to be a little different because this fits a real certain niche. And a lot of times there's a lot of criticism about these type pistols, but they still have a place in the self-defense firearm world. One of the things we're going to do first, of course, is to make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to remove the magazine, check the chamber, and it is empty. It comes in a number of different colors. It is a Zamac alloy, which is a zinc alloy frame. And that's one of the reasons why this is so inexpensive to make. They're not made to be 10,000 rounds. That's not the purpose of this gun. It is made as a strict self-defense firearm. We have two 12-round magazines that come with the pistol. If you live in a state that requires 10 rounds, they'll furnish two 10-round magazines. They are stamped metal. They're not the highest quality, but they're not that bad either. And have a little finger groove here, and then the frame even has a small little finger groove. It does come in this satin frame finish, and then it comes in the black, and then it also comes in an all black and all satin finish. So there's a number of different configurations with this pistol. But one of the things, we're going to leave the magazine in because it does have a magazine disconnect, and it just makes it a lot easier to work. Now the JA9 is fairly compact, but we're going to look, we're looking at about 6.5 inches as far as length, height about 4 1/4 inches, and the width is about 1 1/4 inches. If you grab it, you can tell it's pretty full and it's pretty wide here, and that also adds to just the larger feel of this pistol in your hand. But because the slide is fairly narrow, it really has some decent balance to it. Now these guns are not lightweight, and with an empty magazine inserted, we're looking at 34.5 ounces. Right here is your magazine release, and the magazines, they just fly out. And so it's real easy to drop those magazines and to insert a fresh one. It is a blowback design, and that means when the slide comes back, It picks up around, and it's the recoil itself that makes the gun function back and forth. And as you can see, bringing the slide back, it does hold open on the last round, which is pretty impressive for a pistol of this caliber. There's a lot of features actually on this that kind of surprise me. The serrations right here, fairly easy to grip. One of the things you're going to notice right up front is this little nub that sticks out, and this means that it is a cocked striker indicator. That means that the gun is cocked. You can see it. And one of the things you'll notice is this rear sight. It is a nice white outline, but it's also an adjustable sight, which I thought that was pretty impressive. And you have your elevation knob right here. Now again, we have the white outline here, but you can see toward the front we have a front sight that has an orange glow there. So these sights are very easy to pick up. It does have the magazine disconnect. You release the magazine and it locks the trigger. So just another safety feature. We're going to put a dummy round in here, and I'm going to show you the loaded chamber indicator. Right here on the top, you can see it kind of raises up. And if you look down the sights just a little bit and move it, you can see this raised area. It's tactile and it is visible. So you have your striker indicator here, which means it's cocked, but that does not necessarily mean the gun is loaded or unloaded. And then here we have the chamber indicator. And then when that's removed, it goes down. Go ahead and insert the magazine, check to make sure the gun is unloaded again. Has a little bit of take up, and then a decent, crisp little snap. I mean, there's no grit. There's no grit in the slide itself. You can hear the recoil spring coming back, but it's really pretty smooth for what it is. Okay, we're going to check the trigger pull with Lyman trigger gauge. 8 pounds 2 ounces. That's a little heavier than I really anticipated, but it is what it is. 8 pounds 6 ounces. 7 pounds 13 ounces. For practical use, it's crisp, so it belies its weight. So I really feel that's not really a detriment. We're going to go ahead and drop the magazine and break the gun down and just take a look at the inside. One thing you'll notice is right here at the back, this is a takedown lever. And originally you pushed this little piece right here through and then brought the slide up, and it's really pretty difficult to do. But with this, there's actually a cut in the frame here. So we're going to depress, bring it back, and then we get to a certain point we can lift up. And as you can see, it comes right out. So it's a pretty easy way to bring this out. If you'll watch, when you hit the takedown lever, this is actually one of the slide rails, and you're just moving it out of the way, and it allows the slide to come out. It is a fixed barrel design. I mean, there's no way to take this off. It's fixed, and usually the fixed barrel design lends to good accuracy. It gives a very stable barrel, stable platform. Everything feeds with a lot of stability, and allows this to have decent accuracy. Here you can get a little bit of closer look. Has a small little feed ramp, and you know, it's kind of a complicated piece in a sense. There's a lot going on here, but not any more complicated than most of your modern pistols. Here you can see the striker channel and the striker, and you know, the machining marks are inside here, but again, it's $169 on the street. You're not going to get all the refinements you're going to get with some of the other pistols. Here the recoil spring and the guide rod are a little different. You have a barrel ring that actually keeps this in line, and this actually goes into the frame right here, like so. This connects with the barrel, kind of gives it a little more stability. Now to reassemble, pretty simple. Get your spring back in that hole in underneath your barrel. bring that collet, just get it into place, and get your barrel started through the circle. Takes a little bit of finagling to get it started, but once you do, bring it back, depress, bring it over, and it goes right into place. And of course, it's got the magazine disconnect, and we're back in business. So now we're going to take it down to the range, and we're going to put quite a few rounds through here, and we're going to test it out and see what the JA9 is all about. I want to thank Federal Premium for supplying the American Eagle 9mm, and these 100 round boxes are real convenient. Now down here at the range, honestly, I thought because the grip was so wide that it would be a lot less comfortable to shoot than it was. You can still tell that it's a little wide. I was very conscious of getting my knuckle bumped right here, so I would just adjust my grip a little bit, but really the first couple of shots I fired out of this, and this is the first time I've ever fired a JA9, it was pleasantly surprising. It seemed to be fairly flat shooting. The slide's pretty heavy, and it just seemed to be fairly controllable. But I shot 150 rounds. Honestly, I didn't clean this anything directly from the factory. I did break it down and look at it, and it seemed to have some lube to it. And really, I like to fire them that way because that's typically how people will fire them. They'll take them right out of the box and shoot them. Back down here for day 2, I needed to get some updated accuracy tests. We were shooting Freedom munitions originally, which did fine, shooting a little bit to the right. But when we put it on paper, those copper washed bullets, this gun just does not like them. Not that it malfunctioned, but that the accuracy was pretty all over. And one of the reasons why is the bullets were tumbling. And the tolerances between the barrel and this. Now, from that time, I came back down and did American Eagle 115 grain. That is jacketed bullets, jacketed full metal jacket. And the accuracy was what I really expected in the first place. Shooting at 7 yards with American Eagle 115 grain full metal jacket. Good solid groups with the fixed barrel. I knew that's what we would get. It should have been. I could raise the sight, bring that up just a little bit with the adjustable sights. In fact, I would have done it, but I don't have a screwdriver down here at the range. But this would be very acceptable, very consistent too in the same area. Now I shot another 50 rounds while I was down here and had no hang-ups. With the original day, we did have one failure to feed, and it just got kind of stuck into the ramp, and that was early in the shooting, and then no other problems. So I really felt good about that with it. I think it was like on the second magazine, and then after that just everything seemed to work fine. So really I'm kind of surprised at the performance, just to be honest with you. These pistols, while again they get a bad reputation because of their inexpensive price and the Zamac frame with the alloys, it still fits a great need for a lot of people. Originally I did review the J22, or the JA22, and once I got finished with the review, the guys at Jimenez asked if I would review the JA9. And it was funny because I had a lot of people that asked me if I would review this, a lot of requests. And so, I agreed, and I said, let's check it out. And what I find is what I find. And so that's the big thing about these pistols is, guys, I'm not going to tell you that this pistol is something it's not, because there are some people that will buy this pistol for self-defense. And if there are problems, we need to find out. Now the JA9 is the largest of the group. They do make a 22 model, a 25, a 32 ACP, a 380 ACP. And they make a couple of versions of the 380, and then they make a larger version. So there's a number of different type pistols according to recoil. And the 9mm definitely is going to have more recoil than the 25 or the 22. And some people will not. It doesn't matter what the experts say. It doesn't matter what I say or any of you say. They're going to go out and buy a 22 pistol or a 25 or, a 32. And that's just what they see at the gun shop, and the price is right, and they're going to purchase it. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to go through this review, because if you're going to purchase something like this, you need to know the limitations. Now it comes in a little cardboard box, instructions, also instructions about the lock, which it does have a trigger lock. And here we have a little key, just fits right in the trigger guard, opens up. There you go, extra magazine foam. So pretty simple, but very effective. The Jimenez Arms factory is in Henderson, Nevada. These are made in the USA. One of the things I thought was pretty interesting is it has a lifetime warranty for the original purchaser. So if you buy this pistol and you don't abuse it, if anything goes wrong, Jimenez will stand behind it and will take care of it. Lifetime warranty. If you have a pistol you've had for a number of years and you're not the original purchaser, there are parts available directly from JimenezArmsInc.com. And of course I'll have all that down below. My good friend John that helps out at Jimenez Arms mentioned that they are working on a real secret project. It's the Black Box project, and didn't give me any details, but he just asked me if I'd mention it. So looks like Paul Jimenez is getting ready to do something really special. So I guess we'll find out. So Jimenez Arms has been in business since 2004, and they have sold a lot of different pistols. Again, reaching that market where people that just can't afford it. But also, there's a lot of guys that just collect these type firearms. In fact, there's a website, it's fan of the Jimenez or the Ring of Fire type pistols, whether it's the Jennings, the Brico. They collect these because, they're fairly inexpensive and they are a firearm. And even though these are not necessarily the top quality, they're still very viable for self-defense. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. It is a Jimenez JA 20, and as you can see, it does. Whoops! Is that the original Brico arms are? I really need to shoot a couple of hundred more rounds to see how that goes. Shooting at 10 yards, it was a big mass. As far as these large holes, I'm not really sure about that.